Today I got Justin Benlolo with me. Justin is the frontman, vocalist, guitarist for Toronto, New York, hybrid-based band Broken Love. That's BRKN Love.
Yeah.
Broken Love has amassed over 250 million streams. They have over 370,000 monthly listeners. That's a lot of listeners, man. And at one point, it's up to 580,000 monthly listeners. It's doing great. The band's first single, Shot Down, went to number 15 on the US Active Rock chart, number 5 in Canada on that same chart. Broken Love has just dropped a new single and video called Like a Drug on Spinefarm Records, and they are currently on tour with Badflower. And when I say currently on tour, I mean currently on tour.
We're literally in the van right now. Well, I'm the only one in the van right now.
Very cool, man. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you, taking the time and finding a signal out there in Never Land.
That's all good. There's new challenges that have arisen, when you get on the road and doing, now that Zoom is like a thing, so
yeah,
we're working it out. My band is eating barbecue right now. We're in North Carolina.
Yeah. Fantastic, man.
We're getting a little plate for me and I'm in here. I'm just going to do this real quick. And,
yeah, very cool. Yeah. We won't keep it too long, man. You should get to that barbecue for sure. The Carolinas are great, man. That's no doubt. I have to tell you, it was one of those holy shit moments for me when I heard your music. Crazy. The first thing I heard was Shot Down. And, I get a lot of bands come through and a lot of great music I hear, and it all cooks at this level. This is, I was white knuckling the chair. It was up here. Shot Down is just an amazing song. I throw it on, I start streaming it on Spotify. The next, I mean, one after the other, it just hits you so hard. It's just great music. And there's not enough of it. we need about 4 more albums. We got them for me.
Well, we got another one coming real soon that's hopefully gonna knock your socks off again. So
man, it's just and I think about you're on tour, and I've seen some clips, you guys live, and yeah, I would not want to follow it up. That's for sure. You guys are a solid band all around. It's crazy.
Thank you.
How is the tour going? And what's the worst part of touring?
Oh wow, that's a good question. The tour is going well. So it's funny. We just finished a tour also of Canada, like I don't know, a week ago. So we're not even considering it like 2 separate tours because we went from like Winnipeg, which is in Manitoba, straight to Albany, New York in 2 days. So there's like no days off between our 2 tours. So we've just been going, and it's been really great. The Badflower show has been really great. The crowds have been amazing. The people have been, very supportive and showing up for us, and the crew and the bands have been great as well. Now the worst part of tour is probably the traveling, and the driving, and just like getting up early and hitting the road, or driving after a show and getting to the next destination, because we don't have a bus or a sprinter or bunks or a driver, we don't have the advantage of like sleeping through the night. We have to just, we're chasing a bus basically. So that's probably my least favorite. That and because I'm the singer, like that and balancing like my vocal health, and trying to make sure that I still have a voice every single day,
Yeah.
I mean, we went a little hard yesterday. We drank a lot of scotch last night, but I'm not gonna lie. So we'll see how tonight plays out. But yeah, it's probably a balance between those two. The driving and then keeping my voice in check are probably the 2 worst parts of tour. But everything else is like, the best thing I could ever ask for.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see you out there, man. And you're 24, right? 24 years old. Doing this, making this kind of music for us as fans, and seeing you being successful and on tour and playing for people is a great thing. And I want to ask you about your voice. You know, and that's another thing. You know, I'm listening to Shot Down, and you know, it caught me right away, the slide in on the guitar. You know, that I'm a sucker for that. But then, you know, it gets to this vibrato in your voice right on in that dire wolf line. It's just you know, at the end of it, at the second verse there, it's just got this vibrato that's just, it's amazing, man. Your voice is just great. It's so fun to listen to, and it's so powerful. um Training, vocal, you got to have some vocal training. I know you were a theater kid. You know, I did my homework, and I know you did a lot of theater in school and stuff. But it's got to be more than that, man. Right? How do you keep your voice in shape? And
you're right.
Okay.
I've done all kinds of vocal training for, I mean, probably like 12 years now. I've trained contemporary style. I've trained classical style. I mean, I've trained bel canto technique, which is like an opera thing. I've kind of always been like obsessed with all things vocal related, or everything related to the voice, because, like, you know, I mean, I feel like a lot of rock and roll people or rock and roll singers might not think it's very cool to like take care of their instrument, because it's kind of like the antithesis of rock. But honestly, like, I think there's nothing better that you can do if this is going to be your career, if this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life, and you want to sound as good as, like, I don't know, Bruce Dickinson does in his like 60s. You know,
Right.
You got to take care of your voice, and I've always been really conscious of that, and very like adamant at practicing and you know, doing whatever I can to just make my life and my job easier. And I enjoy it, you know, like, I've been doing it for so long. I was lucky that my parents got me into it when I was like 12, and I just like kept doing, at this point, you know, I do it on my own, you know, but like they got me into like the cycle, you know, instead of like after school playing hockey with my friends, I'd be going and taking vocal lessons, you know.
Right.
So that was like kind of my thing, and I really enjoyed it, and I advocate it to every singer, you know, like, because it's different than learning how to play guitar or piano, because, you know, if you are sick or a little under the weather or whatever, you could still do that,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Like, the voice is like, it's if you damage it, like, you could do irreversible damage, you know, and then that's it. So
can't buy another one.
Yeah, exactly. So it's better to get ahead of that, you know, and learn what you can do to mitigate that stuff. And, you know, I just think that it's important for a career. So.
Totally. And, you know, I mean, there's a lot of guys, known names, in the spotlight right now because they are in their 60s and they're not cutting it. So, you know, I mean, it's you know, they're being grilled now. So yeah, you need to prepare for that. And it's like I say, your voice is insane. It's just great to hear somebody who knows what they're doing and is so powerful. And it's great. And, you know, I listen to it and I say, man, I'd love to hear him sing "Livin' La Vida Loca." And there you go. There it was on YouTube, right? Talk to me a little bit about the Desmond Child. Desmond Child has taken you under his wing, really. You're his singer. He just, you know, it seems that way. You got a lot of tunes out there. You're singing almost his catalog, you know, in clips there, and it sounds great. You know, of course, you do a great job with it. How did that come about, your relationship with Desmond Child? And tell me about what's coming up in June.
It's very interesting. So, I mean, Desmond and I had first worked with each other maybe 6 or 7 years ago. When I was still living out in LA, I was there with a mentor of mine who was also a songwriter, and obviously Desmond is a very celebrated songwriter, and they just knew each other, you know, through like the scene, and they were both Nashville guys, and he knew that I was such a big fan of Desmond just because he had written and produced so much of my favorite, like, you know, 80s rock, you know. And we just reached out to him, sent him a couple demos, and he just liked my voice. And I remember he came down to LA and we did he asked me to sing with him on like a charity thing in Beverly Hills, and I just showed up and I think I did like Angel, the Aerosmith song with him, and maybe I did like Living on a Prayer or something.
Okay.
And then it was like radio silence for a couple months, and then he would start calling and being like, oh, can you do backup vocals for this artist I'm working on? Cool. And then that would keep happening, and then it got to the point where I guess he decided to put a band together and start performing his own shows, because he has this entire catalog of like hits on hits on hits. Like it's incredible how many smash hits like this dude has written. And it's intimidating to say the least. I mean, like when I'm handed this like plethora of songs, I'm like I don't even know what to think of it, because it's a daunting task for me. One, because I have to make the people who know the song happy, because they already are used to hearing the song a certain way, and then I also have to make him happy because he's the boss, like this is his baby. So he was gracious enough to give me a call when he wanted to put this band together and asked me to be one of the singers and performers in his group. And we've been doing it for a couple of years now, and he is doing a show, I guess in June. I guess the cat's out of the bag, in Greece, at the Acropolis, I believe. And it's going to be insane. I mean, like Alice Cooper is going to be there. I think Orianthi is playing guitar. Trying to think of a couple other big ones real quick. Laurie from the Rasmus is going to be there. I think maybe Paul Stanley's going to be there, maybe, but I can't say for sure. There's like a hit list of people that like make me want to vomit. And I have to be there and sing and play guitar behind all these people.
Singing singing the songs that they made popular. Like, I Was Made for Loving You. In front of Paul Stanley. That's some pressure right there.
I've done it before, actually. I've already done that.
Man.
Oh my God. I had to do it at Desmond got inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, the ASCAP Songwriters Hall of Fame. And he asked me to come and sing at his induction. So I came down to Beverly Hills and I sang You Could Love a Bad Name. Then I did Dude Looks Like a Lady. And then I did I Was Made for Loving You. And Ricky Sambora was there when I'm singing, You Could Love a Bad Name. And then I had to do I Was Made for Loving You, and then invite Paul Stanley on stage after I was done. And me, I'm just like, I'm the biggest Kiss fan. They're the reason I started playing music in the first place. And to share that moment with Paul for a second, where I got to give him a hug and like, he said some nice things about me on stage. I just went up to my hotel room later and just like bawled like a baby. It's such a childhood dream come true.
Yeah, totally. And that's funny. I have two kids, and I took my kids. They did some in stores. Gene did, and then Paul did, and we did the in stores and everything. And when we were done, I walked out and I told the kids, I said, if I was my 8-year-old self, I would have never made it. I would have fainted on the spot.
Yeah.
Gene's playing with my daughter's hair and stuff. I was like, this can't really be happening. Kiss was the breath of life back in the day, for sure. Tell me about the new single. We got Like a Drug. On the press release, you're quoted as saying you became infatuated with 70s disco and funk over the last year. Is that your dad's fault? I know your dad's a big disco guy. Yeah, way cool. What were you listening to specifically? And will we see those specific elements in the newer music?
So first, yes, it is my dad's fault. I love it. So my uncle was the rock guy and my dad is like the disco guy. So I get the combination of like musical interest there, because I do love that stuff. And I listen to a lot of like Earth, Wind and Fire and the Bee Gees and Casey and the Sunshine Band and like Donna Summer. And I love Michael Jackson and like Prince and all that kind of stuff. And also like one of my favorite records of the past year was the Silk Sonic record that Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak did. And
Okay,
I
yeah.
love that album. It's like my favorite thing right now. So I was just kind of flirting with that, you know, with those kind of feels, like that disco drum feel, you know. There's a specific beat that they kind of lay down on most of those tunes, and I really liked how we could incorporate that with a heavier rock riff, but then give it this kind of like, I don't know, this like shake your ass kind of like, you know, get down on the club, you know, get down on the dance floor kind of vibe, and just kind of bridge the gap into what we do, you know, and bring it back into like the more rock and heavier riffing kind of stuff. But even the guitar riff, like the little turnarounds we do, like the do 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 do, that's like totally like a disco like string part that I'm ripping off, you know, because it's like so many disco songs have that turnaround, and I just thought that was, you know, that was really, really cool to put in there. But yeah, I mean, there's I think another song on this new record that sort of echoes that one. It does have this more like dancey feel, you know, kind of upbeat, kind of just like, you know, get down kind of song. Because I miss rock that you could dance to, you know, like that's kind of what I like. I like AC/DC because of that. Like you can kind of get down to AC/DC, you know. Well, it's just like four on the floor, just like,
it's,
you know,
groove, man. It's all groove, and that was the thing, especially with Shot Down. It hit me right away. This is groove heavy stuff. And you know, another band that hit me that way was 7 Year Witch, which is, they're fairly, you know, they have a similar sound to what you guys are doing. You know, Dirty Honey, that kind of thing. It has that groove that's just you know, you can just and you know, that's kind of the disco groove thing, just with heavy guitars, you know.
I mean, like we're big Queens of the Stone Age fans, so like I'm pulling from that a lot too, because they kind of do that disco-y beat, like with like, but then with like some crazy hardcore, like, you know, almost metal-ish riff sometimes. But yeah, no, we were just trying to blend that, you know, because I'm glad you said groove, because I've been trying to make like groovy rock again, like very groove based, bop in your head kind of stuff, which like, because that's what I like it to be simple and just, you know, you could just groove, you know, and keep it heavy and stinky, and you know, so I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, and it's totally, that's what I'm getting from it for sure. What's the songwriting process for you guys? Are you know, one guy, I know you write, you know, is it a band collaboration thing, or you know, just you by yourself? How's that work?
I mean, it's mainly just me, and that's also just because of like the unfortunate timing of like everything in the past couple of years. So yeah, it's usually just me, and it's hard to really pin down like how I go about doing it. You know, sometimes I'll wake up and be like, I'm gonna write a song today, and other times I'll be like in the shower, you know, just like, you know, sudsing up, and I'm like, oh my god, that's a great melody, and I'll jump out of the shower and pull out my phone and like sing a little thing into my voice memos. Awesome. That's usually, I find that that's how it goes. You know, I'll be kind of like walking around, maybe I'll be like at the gym or like cooking something, and then I'll just have something in my head and I just sing it into my phone. And it sounds so bad, you know, it's always me going like, and then I have to figure out what I like meant later. But usually it starts with me like humming a guitar riff, and then I kind of sit down and like to work out a vocal melody at the same time, because I do both. So like, and I know that the vocal is like, to me, the most important part, because I just want it to be hooky and catchy, and I think a lot of that comes from the vocal personally. And so I kind of do those things. They kind of coexist with each other, and then I worry about like the riffing and the really like, you know, the complex stuff like later. I think we can all add that. We're not a super like technical or super like, you know, I mean, we could play all that stuff, but we don't, you know, we're not messing around with different time signatures and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we do play in odd tunings sometimes, but the riffing for us is kind of stock, because like, you know, we're playing like blues scale, kind of like very limited amount of like music theory is needed to play our music on purpose. So like I'm so many riffs, so many notes we could play, and so many things we could rearrange, that I'm more interested in creating like a a very catchy and interesting vocal part first, and then doing the guitar stuff later. And then, I mean, that's pretty much it. I usually build demos on my computer. Like I'll just plug in or whatever, lay down the guitar, sing something, and then like program a drum part and lay down a shitty bass thing.
Right. Just to get a basic idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to get a basic idea, just because now you can program everything. So it's like, I just sit there and program the drums because, I could play everything, but I can't, I'm not going to record myself playing in my house. It's going to take way too much time. I'll just program it for now, and then we worry about actually changing it later.
Well, and you got a hell of a band there, and you talk about drums. Russell, stood out to me too, watching him. He's what, 12?
Everybody thinks that. He's 27.
No way.
Yeah, so I'm the youngest in the band.
Oh my God.
He's the second oldest, actually.
Oh my God. Yeah, he looks like a little kid. And to watch him play is just an adrenaline rush, man. I mean, you can mute it and it's still great. I can hear it without even audio on. It's just, it's so intense the way you guys just groove together, and it's just, it's a whole chemistry thing. It's great to watch, even better to listen to. Now you released Dead Weight before this latest single, Like a Drug. Are those two going to be on the record, and is the record going to be a full-length record?
Yes. So both of those will be on the record, and the record will be a full-length, coming out probably sometime in the fall, I'm imagining. We are going to be doing sort of like a first and back half, like EP release kind of thing. Okay. And then we'll be including more songs on the full length. But yeah, those will be on the record for sure.
Cool. Was there anything you wanted to do differently with this one? The first one was your debut, the first time doing it kind of thing. You had to wait to get it to us, really. Tour on it, at least. Anything you looked back on doing that you wanted to do differently with this new one?
That's a good question. I guess like on this one, it wasn't more of what I wanted to do differently, but more so like what I had less limitations, I guess, that I'd set on myself this time around, just because I feel like when I was younger, making the first record, I was very closed-minded, and I had all these like preconceived notions of like how, we should go about recording things if we want to be like a real rock band, or how people would perceive the music if we didn't record it a certain way. I think that this time around, I just embraced like, the first record we did to tape, and this time we just did it like, modern, like Pro Tools, whatever, like the way everybody does records now. I just kind of embraced the modern technology and just like embraced the modern way of recording. And I think that doing so actually opened up a lot of doors to like, have songs that are a little bit more textured, maybe there's like more, there's a little bit more going on, I guess, now. I wasn't afraid to layer things a little bit more. And with the first record, I was like, we can't record it this way because we're not gonna be able to play it live. I can't put another guitar part on this because there wasn't a third guitar player. And now I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. Like I just kind of threw the, everything but the kitchen sink basically like at it. And just said, I'll figure it out later. And I think that's just a little bit, that's probably how I went about it this time. I just kind of freed myself up and let us do what we have to do to make it great. And like, I'm not mad at the way we did it. If anything, it was more freeing. And you're pretty much getting everything you'd expect from us. And it's like basically everything we've done before, but just more of it, That's just a lot more across the board,
Good. That's good to hear. For sure.
Yeah.
Now you did the Bishop Briggs tune, River, which you just kill it on the record. It's so great. Do you know if she has heard it? Did you hear anything from their camp?
We did send it to their management at some point, and I don't think the manager liked that we did it. Something like that. I think he was like worried that our version was better, but I don't know.
He should be.
I don't think she's heard it. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
It's a big deal. She's got too many things to worry about than some like greasy bunch of stoners from New York,
Yeah,
recording a version of her song.
I think she's gonna do just fine. Even though you got it out there, it is better. Now you're really young. You guys are all really young. There's all kinds of life things going on. You got house, wife, kids. Do you think about those things? I know you're focused now and your career, but do you ever worry that you might pass that by, or is that something that you want to consider in your life?
Well, I mean, I'm definitely thinking about the future in a sense that like I want to be able to support myself comfortably and have a nice big house and all that kind of stuff. That's definitely something that we're all worried about or thinking of. But I try not to get too in my head about like the things you're supposed to do in life, settle down, have kids, whatever. Like I'm so young. I think I got my whole life ahead of me. And I just kind of take every day as it is and just try to really seriously, I know it sounds cliche, but just take it day by day. Like, because everything changes all the time, So I try not to get too worried about it, because I know I have time. I know I'll figure it out, and I know that that life has already been really good to me so far. So I hope, and I can't say I know, but I hope that it continues to serve me in this way. And we're all pretty level-headed dudes, nobody's crazy or off the rails, and everybody's definitely conscious of the life we chose to live and the path we're going down. So
yeah, I watched the documentary and everything. And you guys on the road making that film and everything. I think Russell did most of it, but
yeah, Russell edited the whole thing.
Yeah. It's a great watch, man. For anybody who hasn't seen it, check it out. It really it's a fun trip with you guys for sure. I'll let you get to your barbecue. I got one more for you, man. If you could sit down with anybody in the world and have a conversation, who would that be?
Could it be alive or dead, or does it have to be
alive? Yeah,
alive.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would love to pick Jack White's brain.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a guy that I always think of as like, he's so quirky and so interesting. He's like a I don't even know what term like to throw around for him, but he is just like the most interesting character in rock for me.
He's
for the
unique.
past like 20, 25 years, everything down to the aesthetic. Like I would love to know how he tinkers, like what makes him tick, because even like, he has his own record pressing plant, and it's like he still has that, like the aesthetics are nice, like even everything down to like that has to be like on brand. I'm very interested in how that guy thinks, and I would just love to spend like a day with him, or just be a fly on the wall, like in one of his recording sessions or something. I think he's such an interesting character, and I would just love to. I would love to get to know him one day.
That's cool. Have you seen the documentary, Mike Out Loud?
Yeah, of course. Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane.
Well, that's how I found out about him, because I, of course, am a massive Led Zeppelin fan, and I was always a U2 fan, and like so. I remember people when it came out, at least my friends were like, "Oh, who's this Edge guy?" And I was like, "Edge." I was like, "Who's this Jack White guy?" Like, why is he there with these two legends? And then after that documentary, I was like, "Oh my God, this dude is like wild! Like his theories and his like the way he looks at making music is so interesting to me, and it's something that I've kind of come to embrace like a little bit of my own too. So I took a lot of that away from him, and everything he puts out is amazing. All the projects he's involved with, everything he touches turns to gold in my eyes. So I would just love to, hang out with that guy one day.
That's cool. Well, I'll let you get to your meal. Enjoy it. Enjoy the guys. Enjoy the road. And I hope to hang out with you one day, man. Come through Chicago, and we'll do it for sure.
For sure, man.
All right.
Thanks very much.
Thanks so much, man. Take care. Bye-bye.